Good afternoon, I'm calling Sian, and for this part I will be presenting the three major policies for further enhancement in Malaysia economics performance within the year of 2020 until 2029 period. So I will be propose the three major policies, which is fiscal expansionary policy in the demand side, monetary expansionary policy in the demand side, and including interventional policy in the supply side. For this part, we will be using the few data to comparing the Malaysia current and future economic performance. The data are emerging markets and development economics, world data, Singapore and Vietnam. For first one, which is the Malaysia GDP. From the graph, we can see that the Malaysia GDP is remaining below 5% on the par comparing with the emerging and development economics. And for second one, which is inflation rate. For Malaysia, inflation rate is remaining low and stable for past 5 years, and we forecast that the inflation rate will be the same for next 5 years. And for third one, which is unemployment rate. Malaysia unemployment rate is marginal high compared to Singapore and Vietnam, which these two countries having the strong economic growth in the Asian region. And for the last one, which is Malaysia debt to GDP level, is considered high compared to Thailand and Vietnam, but it's slightly better compared to emerging markets, and it's gradually reduced year to year. So for this part, we can conclude that the Malaysia boosts real GDP more than 5% with manageable inflation rate, and invest capital investment to enhance an employment rate by benchmarking Singapore, Vietnam, and we will continue reduce nation debt level below 50%. We will be presenting for this policy, which is fiscal expansionary policy, which is for the demand side. For Malaysia until 2019, the Malaysian unemployment rate was stable at a rate of 3%, and the GDP growth rate was at 4.3%. And based on our research, the government announced the 2019 budget program, which is about example improving socio-economic well-being, strengthening social protection programs, employment ability, and also the productivity for SMEs. So we forecast that the Malaysia economy from 2021 until 2029 will actually be impacted due to the coronavirus, and the economy will go down dramatically and also causes unemployment rises. So this lead to the aggregate demand and full employment level will actually fall, and this causes deflationary gap, cyclical unemployment happens. So from this, we will be requires the fiscal expansionary policies to solve the economic issues. By using the fiscal expansionary policies, we suggest that the government will actually able to reducing the income tax rate. For example, the annual income from 35 until 50k, the rate will able to decrease from 3% to 2%, and also reducing the tax rate from the bank's lending, and also increase the interest rate for deposits. This will actually lead to the purchasing power of the consumer be increased, and also leads to the high economic growth. And also the government able to encourage and increase investment into the public work schemes, example SMEs, and this will lead to decrease in unemployment rate. So from the graph below, we can see that the unemployment rate for Malaysia in coming years will actually rise up to 3.4%, but slowly by using the policies will actually drops to successfully to 2.9%, and this policy will lead to the AD shift to the right, resulting better nation income with slight inflation.
Ladies and gentlemen, second policy, monetary policy for the demand sides. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM is regulate the overnight policy rate, which is the overnight interest rate that affect on the country employment, economic growth, and inflations. The OEPR is as the indicator of the health of the country overall economy and banking system. On March 3rd, 2020, Bank Negara Malaysia announced the reductions of the OPR by 25 basic point to 2.5%, intended to provide more accommodation monetary environment to support the projected improvement in economic growth amid to the price stabilities. It's said by the Bank Negara, it's helped to encourage an accommodative monetary environment that COVID-19 outbreak have affecting the production and the tourism, leading higher risk aversions, tighter financial condition, and more financial market volatility. For 2020, the private and the public sector activity will be supportive of growth. Household spending is expected to grow at a slower pace amid moderate employment and income growth. Investment activity is projected to record a modest recovery, underpinned by ongoing and new projects, both in public and private sectors. So, the change in OPR will trigger a change of events that affect the base lending rates, BLR, short-term interest rates, fixed deposit rates, foreign exchange rates, long-term interest rates, the amount of money and credit, and ultimately a range of economic variables, including employment, output, prices of goods and service, which is the micro and macro factor on the economics. Over here, I'm attached two graphs to indicate the past years OPR rates. So we know that people hold money to buy goods and activity that is called as a transaction demand. Contingency as a precautionary demands, and the investment like bond will be called as speculative demand. These money demands will be higher when having a lower interest rate and vice versa. When higher money demand is driven by the household, which is more optimistic on the spending and investment, encourage firms investment on the PPE for better productivity, government project on the infrastructure upgrade and expansion, and stimulate the net export. This low interest rate will lead to the low exchange rates. This will indirectly shifting the aggregate demand to the right, and new equilibrium from the ADAS curve form with the higher GDP rates and higher price levels. This is what will happen on the money demand change. For the money supply change, the increase of money supply from S1 to S2 will resulting a drop on the interest rates. Lower interest rate will stimulate more spending and investment for the household, firm and government, plus the net export where lower exchange rates. It will further boost the GDP and price level at the same time as the aggregate demand is right shifted. The impact will be higher inflation as higher average price. The volatile of the inflation rate may negatively impact the business activity, and we shall be cautious and balance up each other. So, Bank Negara need to carefully treat the interest rate versus the inflation rate so that our nation economy can continue growth.
I'll be coming on the last part, interventional policy, and I'll explain a few points which government has implemented. In budget 2020, government enhanced its strategy in focusing on developing 5G digital ecosystem, providing with funds, grants, and incentive of RM2 21.6 billion national fiberization and connectivity plan, and also strongly promote people using touch and go e-wallet payment system. In the new era of industry 4.0, it demand change in line with digital transformation will react competitive, causing direct impact on the future job market. and and then further, and in provision of education, besides there's a chart, and in the table 2, it clearly shows that the government continue to prioritize in education and training, showing an increase of RM 22.9 billion in year 2020 compared with previous year RM 20.4 billion. And then investing in vocational training, government continues to support mainstream of technical and vocational education and training, known as TVET, creating pathway for holders to pursue degree through Malaysia Technical University Network, and also provides industry support skills training centers which able to meet the industry needs, thereby evaluating the growing graduate unemployment problem facing in the country. And in provision of healthcare, by expanding on My Salam health insurance scheme covering 4.3 million, and PECA B40 or non-communicable disease NCD screenings and early benefits for RM 100,000 individual and under B40 category, and upskill the workforce to be competent, innovative, and diverse skill sets with better healthcare will boost the productivity, especially utilize the technology and digitalization in era 40. Ease of new technology adoption and better healthcare on capital investment will improve the LRS and SRAS, resulting a lower price level and a better real GDP.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of our presentations from the group 7, and we are open for the Q&A. Thank you.